Now, we were told several times over that the Democratic Party would get to the Dreamers eventually. Now, to be fair, Donald Trump is the one that took away the protection of young kids who were brought here into the country when they were just underage children. They had nothing to do with that decision. A lot of them don't have any memories of the countries that they came from. Some don't speak the language. Instead, they're Americans. They were raised here the whole time, but they are undocumented. Their parents came in undocumented. But a huge percentage of Americans agree that they should be able to stay and have a pathway to citizenship. So Democrats said, well, you know, when Trump took that away, we're going to fight him. And we were going to put it into the original budget negotiations, and then we decided not to. And then there was a second round of budget negotiations. That one we're going to insist on it again. No, we're not. No, we're not. But the third round in March, that's where we lay down the hammer and we draw a red line. So let's find out if they did. The Hill reports Democratic leaders are backing off of their demand that Dreamer protections be a part of the 2018 budget negotiations. Say it with me. Of course they are. They were never gonna do it. They're like, oh, come this way, Latino voters, just a little further, just a little further. Give me your vote one more time and then I'll fix things. I know how this game is played. Oh, Republicans, we're gonna fight them. Oh my God, resistance. Oh, about that budget. Oh man, my donors all need that omnibus spending bill to get passed. Oh, the donors versus Dreamers. Ooh, that's a tough one. Tough, that's not tough at all. Of course they're gonna go with the donors. So, while House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi and other Democratic leaders had hinged their support for last month's budget caps deal on a commitment from Republicans to consider legislation salvaging the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, they've signaled they won't hold a similar line heading into next week's expected vote on an omnibus spending bill. So what happened? I thought the Republicans were going to give you the vote. Oh, they didn't, did they? Just like I said. You said that wasn't correct, right, establishment Democrats? Well, you were wrong. I'm expecting an apology. You guys love to apologize to Republicans. Well, they didn't give you a vote, and now what do? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, no vote. We don't need the vote. So they mentioned Nancy Pelosi is one of the people caving on this. Oh, that's interesting, because I remember her pretending to care about this issue a lot. The last time they had a vote, this is what happened. The day before the vote, Pelosi commandeered the chamber floor with a marathon 8-hour speech designed to highlight the Republicans' refusal to take up any DACA legislation. The next day, 118 Democrats joined her in opposing a measure that many later hailed as a domestic policy victory. Two important parts of that. First of all, on the fake filibuster she did in the House, I gave her credit. I said, hey, listen, at least she's bringing a spotlight to the issue. She's working hard to do that, and if she sticks with this strategy and does not cave eventually, then I'll give her even more credit. But as you would expect, and as I've told you for decades, doesn't take a rocket scientist. All you have to do is read the paper. You know the Democrats are going to buckle. They do it every time. They're going to cave because they're paid to lose. It's not an accident. It's not like, oh golly gee, there was nothing we could do about it. No, it's part of the kabuki theater. So that's why I make the predictions ahead of time. That's why I'm almost always right, not because I'm smart, because it's obvious. Follow the money. Where's the money? The Dreamers don't have money, donors have money. And that spending bill is loaded up with money. It's gotta pass, it's gotta pass, it's gotta pass. So all that semantics about the 8 hours and stuff, that was just a marketing gimmick. Just so that she could get credit from the Dreamers and from Latino voters and not actually do anything about it. Now the second half is as important. 118 Democrats were on her side and fought on that issue at the time. That's good, I'll give them credit for that. But they didn't win. But they said, well, we'll call it a policy victory. No, a victory is when you win, not when you grab a lot of headlines and get the spotlight for yourself and you still fail. That's not a victory. Only in the Democratic world is that a victory. Okay. So Nancy Pelosi now says, wait, now look, quote, it is necessary for us to pass the omnibus to defend our country. In other words, defense contractors gave me a lot of money and my fellow Democrats a lot of money, which I funneled to them, to invest in our children's future, to keep America #1 in every respect, to do so in a way that creates jobs. That sounds like Donald Trump wrote it. We're going to keep America number one. We're going to keep it safe. Defense contractors get billions of dollars, and all my donors get billions of dollars. Dreamers, who gives a goddamn about the dreamers? I already got my spotlight. Nancy Pelosi, you wonder why we don't trust you. This is why we don't trust you. It's not that complicated. Corporate establishment Democrats, you wonder why we don't trust you? Because you lie over and over. You give it to the Republicans and you lose to the Republicans on purpose. How else do I call it ahead of time? I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking it. I told you that they'd never vote on this. They're not voting on it. I told you they'd never insist on it in any budget. They're not insisting on it in any budget. I'm right, they're wrong, because I know what their motivation is. It's the money, Lebowski. It's not that complicated. All right. Now we go to Representative Steny Hoyer, the number 2 person in the House for the Democrats. All these guys should be wiped out. Number 1 through goddamn however many deep it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, knock them all out. Why are they in these positions? Pelosi and Hoyer and guys like Crowley are in their positions because they raise the most amount of money. They brag about it. When they ask Nancy Pelosi, why should you be the leader of the Democrats in the House? She's like, what do you mean? I bring in the most amount of money. You know what that means to the rest of us? I'm the most corrupt. I tell all the donors, I'll give you whatever you want. I'll do other things pretending I stand for progressives, but I'll stand for you guys. So here's Steny Hoyer, her henchman, about going forward without any vote on the Dreamers. Quote, I think that's probably the best policy for us to do. It's also politically the most feasible way to get an omnibus passed. Well, you're right. Caving into the Republicans and giving them everything they want is the easiest way for an omnibus spending bill to be passed. By the way, what happened to the goddamn resistance? I thought you were fighting the Trump guys all the way, but here it's their budget. You got some crumbs in that budget. I talked to the audience before about the crumbs you got. A little bit of this, and they took away CHIP, and then they gave us back CHIP in a couple of months. Wow, okay. That's an enormously popular program, but I barely fought on it, and then when I got it back, I declared victory. Okay, they gave you the crumbs off your table. You should be fighting that budget, not looking to a way to make it the easiest way that it could pass to help Trump and the Republicans. Hoyer suggested the Democrats' most effective tool in moving the Republicans to act on DACA is not withholding omnibus votes, but rousing pressure from the public, which polls shows overwhelmingly opposed to deporting the Dreamers, young undocumented immigrants brought to the country as minors. Yeah, but we got that covered, Steny. The country doesn't want that to happen, and you even know that. But what are you going to do about it? We could all be mad, but we're not in Congress. You're in Congress. You have to actually propose this thing called legislation. Now, I know you're very familiar with it when it helps your donors. You pass those right along. Hey, we gotta pass the spending bill. We gotta pass the Republican spending bill. My donors say don't upset the markets. Don't upset the markets. My donors would be very mad. They have all their money in the markets. But when it comes to DACA and the Dreamers or any progressive priorities, legislation, what name so? How do we do that? What do you want? You want the numbers to be high? Even Steny Hoyer knows it. Look at what he said. Our best leverage is 90% of the American people, 87% think this ought to be done. Hey, I was gonna say idiot, but he's not an idiot. He does this on purpose. If you've got 87% of the American people behind you already, that is when you introduce legislation or actually hold up the omnibus bill because you have what is called in political circles, I know you guys don't understand politics at all, so let me explain it to you slowly. That is when you use your leverage, your political leverage, because they need your votes for that bill. But you know that. You've been in Congress a long, long time. You purposely give away your leverage. What are you going to get it from 87% to 92%? What difference does it make? What more can the American people do to help the Dreamers? 87% of us say, God damn it, help the Dreamers. And you go, well, that is very good leverage. I choose not to use. But if you guys keep doing protests or something, maybe it'll magically happen. I got a better idea. How about we kick all of your asses out in primaries, we put in real progressives, then we won't need magic. Then we'll actually have votes in Congress to get progressive priorities done. Any group that opposes these establishment corporate Democrats you should support. Whether it's Justice Democrats or anyone else. Get in there, man, for whatever you do, vote in primaries. Vote in primaries. In a lot of cases, these corporate Democrats are a much bigger enemy to you than the Republicans. The Republicans you see coming straight in front of you. When they go to stab you, it's from the front. These guys, oh, we got your back, we're gonna protect. Oh, only 87% of Americans agree with us. We're gonna have to wait, we can't, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do about it. We need 98%, there's nothing we can do. Those guys are losing on purpose. They're the worst of the worst. Go into every primary in every state and every district and vote out the Democratic incumbents. So yes, there are some progressives that are good. Look into it, whether it's Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, some members of the Progressive Caucus, Ro Khanna, Raul Grijalva, etc. Fine, but do your homework. And 98 out of 100 times, if you vote out a Democratic incumbent, you'll have done the nation a great, great favor in the primaries. Then we go kick Republican ass, because these guys are never gonna do it. What you just watched was one of the videos that we do today, but we actually do a whole 2-hour show every single day. It's a podcast, you can watch it in video or listen to it as audio. You can download it, you can stream it, and you get it completely ad-free if you could become a member of the Young Turks. tytnetwork.com/join.